So we have a new president, but embassies and consulates are still closed. In this video, like always, as soon as I have new information, I like to make a video update about what's the status of embassies and consulates worldwide, when are they going to reopen finally, and how it's going to impact your case. In this video, I have a little update following Biden's executive orders, something that you really need to know. So let's jump right in. Welcome to our immigration channel. This is a place where you get the most up-to-date immigration news, immigration updates, and everything else you need to know to make your immigration journey less stressful. In this video, we'll talk about embassies and consulate reopening. What's the most recent information? If you remember this video, the most recent video I've done in December, where I updated you about a meeting that the American Immigration Lawyers Association and the State Department had, where they had a bunch of questions, and some of those questions focus on the issue of embassies reopening. If you remember that video, I posted a section from the meeting that the American Immigration Lawyers Association had with the State Department. Specifically in that memo, they had a section about consulars and embassies reopening. We mentioned the fact that they're going to be opening in phases. We also mentioned the fact that they talked about a few embassies like the one in Frankfurt that fully reopened, and a plan to reopen about 89 embassies and consulates within the next 6 months. That was the last update. But also remember, I mentioned to you that they are going to be reopening each embassy depending on their country conditions, but also based on their individual staffing capacity, the situation with the pandemic in their respective countries, and other things that will impact each individual embassy. I also mentioned that if you have a case with a particular embassy, you have to be in touch with that specific embassy so you know exactly when they reopen and how they'll be processing the cases when they actually do. But in this video, I also wanted to mention something that we know now from one of Biden's executive orders, specifically the one that lifts the Muslim ban, as they call it. That executive order, as you can see here, that executive order is titled Proclamation on Ending Discriminatory Bans on Entry to the United States, and specifically focus on the Muslim ban. There are 4 proclamations. So this particular executive order essentially lifts the Muslim ban and also a ban on certain African countries that essentially were banned from issuing visas to the nationals that are coming from their countries when they specifically apply for green cards, permanent residence. And those proclamations that started in 2017 put a major impact on many people that try to immigrate from those countries, and also created a severe visa backlog at those embassies. What this proclamation does, it immediately lifts that ban on embassies to actually issue visas. That proclamation does not allow these individuals to enter the United States at the moment. What it does allow them is to start getting their visas at the embassies. What is important in this proclamation, as it applies to embassies and consulates worldwide, is Section 2 of that proclamation. And let's look at it together. Section 2 of this proclamation specifically sets resumption of visa processing and clearing the backlog of cases in waiver processing. The Secretary of State should direct all embassies and consulates consistent with the applicable law and visa processing procedures, including any related to coronavirus disease 2019, to resume visa processing in a manner consistent with the revocation of the executive order and proclamation specified in Section 1. So while this order specifically applies to these countries, to these 4 executive orders that are being lifted, the Muslim ban in the African countries, the moment these consulates are getting an order to start resuming processing visas, it's going to apply to also other people that are applying for other consulates and other embassies, because we assume that the State Department is going to work in a very organized manner, in a very coordinated manner. If certain consulates are getting an order to start resuming visa processing, why wouldn't it apply to other embassies and consulates? So we believe that it will apply. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to start getting your visas tomorrow, but what it tells us is that embassies and consulates are now getting orders from the State Department. They need to find a way to start resuming and start processing cases in a reasonable manner, just like it says in that executive order. So this update, together with the one that I provided in December, that specifically says that these embassies are reopening. They do have instructions to start reopening depending on the country conditions, and that they said that within the year, more than 89 of these consulates and embassies are going to reopen. These 2 things together tells me that these are positive news, and that we're going to see more and more of these posts going to start reopening, and hopefully you will get your visa appointments scheduled soon as well. But once again, I suggest and I recommend, like before, that if you have a case pending with any embassy, email them, stay in touch with them, make sure that you remember that they are ready to be open, and it's up to you to follow up and keep track on your own case. So once again, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. If you want a consultation with me, you can text me the number here, and I'm happy to set up a consultation to discuss your individual case with you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So if you like this video, watch these two videos for more information just like that.